What's up, big baller shot callers? Welcome from the Grid to Rim Sports Talk Show. Man, it's been Joe, my co-host Monty Brown. Can't forget that. But
What's up, Sweet 16?
yeah, Sweet 16 it is.
Darn that
Man,
Tar
that's what
Heels.
we're yeah. Uh, we're having some technical difficulties earlier, but I think we got things worked out. Yeah, we're gonna talk about March Madness on show here today. Sweet 16 is here. There's some games later on. The first games for Sweet 16 are being played later on this afternoon or evening here in a couple hours. Um, First and second round did not disappoint.
No,
There were some upsets. There are no Cinderellas, but we will talk about that later. But we did have some upsets. High Point upset Wisconsin of 5-12. There's some 6-11 upsets like we thought. Texas. Texas is in the Sweet 16. They've had multiple upsets. Beating BYU, then beating Gonzaga next. So Texas, the 11 seed, is still alive. And they had to play a playing game with North Carolina State, so they've already won 3 games. Uh, Duke looked shaky as a
Mhm.
one, but they recovered. They played better, much better in the second round than they did the first. They almost lost to a 16 seed, Siena. That they were losing almost the whole entire game until like the last 5 minutes of the
Yeah.
game. So that was kind of
Wow.
shocking. But then in the second round, they play a TCU team that's pretty good, and they win by 20 some points. So they kind of recovered. Um, Out of the 16 teams in the Sweet 16, the Big Ten has six: Michigan State, Purdue, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois. Illinois also upset Florida. Can't forget
Hmm.
that. Iowa upset Florida in the second round. That's the one number seed that's already gone. So one
Wow.
number
Yeah.
seed is out. We could talk about that also later on today.
Whew.
Uh, SEC has 4 teams: Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas. ACC only has one, and that's Duke. A lot of ACC teams lost in the
Mhm.
first and second round. Big East has two: UConn, St. John's. They both look pretty strong, and the Big 12 has three: Arizona, Houston, Iowa State.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, what do you think about Iowa beating Florida in the second round? I didn't see that game, but
Man.
Iowa has not made the Sweet 16 since 1999, bro. Like they have had tournament success in over 25 years, and that's really shocking to me. Happy for the Big Ten,
Yeah.
but that
Yeah.
surprised me. That one surprised me.
You know what? I had Florida in the finals to lose to Michigan, but you, myself, my nephew Dwayne covered this 2 tournaments ago, 2 years ago. This NIL and transfer portal thing going on. I think we're starting to see this form now. Now we're starting to see it raise its ugly head, or however you want to look at it. If you notice, we don't have, like you mentioned, there's no Sweet 16s in there. But look at the blue bloods that are out. You got your North Carolinas that are out that we're normally used to seeing around here. You have your Kentuckies that are out. We normally see them here, down seasons by their standards. Now, there are a couple of blue bloods left. You got your Yukons, you have Duke, but look who else is in there. You have your mid major schools who will where these kids are going to, like Iowa, schools that aren't necessarily blue bloods, but they're schools that have money that can get these kids in there. Iowa State,
Hmm.
you can't put them up there with Duke yet. Well, you might now. Who else are we talking about here? Your Vanderbilts.
Maybe. Uh, what do you
Well,
think about Houston? You think Houston's a major?
Houston,
Houston's been good for a
Houston.
long time, but I don't think they're
Yeah,
D1 obviously, but they're in the
yeah,
Big 12, but they're not like a huge,
yeah.
huge like, blue blood team.
A
Yeah.
team that has, yeah, but can outbid your Virginia Commonwealth. I mean, for that can get these bigger name kids that can. I guess I'm not sure if I'm using the right word. Outbid your Virginia Commonwealth, your St. Mary's, who I has a Cinderella. Uh, who else we talking about? Your McNeese States, who normally does well in the tournament.
Yeah, Drake. Drake's
Right,
another one, but
Drake's. There you
Drake
go.
wasn't in the tournament this year, which was surprising.
Right. So we're seeing these middle schools getting these kids that normally these other schools I think would get. So we're starting to see that separation now. This is the second year in a row, big name schools in double digits. Well, Lord, I have that wrong. Teams that are not no mid majors, no double digit mid majors have been in the Sweet 16 2 years in a row.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So, am I surprised? No. I think we're going to see more of this, more of a separation now. We might see less.
Yeah, we still had upsets though, but not
Yeah,
like,
there were.
like I said, High Point upset Wisconsin in the first round. We weren't surprised about that. We talked about that in our last show. Like
Mhm.
Wisconsin was kind of a team that could possibly get upset.
Right.
Um, McNeese State on the other side almost upset Vanderbilt. That was one of the other 5-12s. Vanderbilt did hang on, but they lost in the second round in a very good game against Nebraska. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, there isn't like mid majors in it right now, but some mid
Right.
majors did play well. They just didn't win the games.
Right.
Like the High Point almost made it to the Sweet 16. They gave Arkansas a run for their money. Like
Oh yeah.
I think the final score was like 94 to 88 in the second round. Like Arkansas never broke away from those guys. I mean, that game was freaking close from jump ball all the way to the end.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, I was
yeah,
looking
and it
back.
made. Yeah, you're right though. Like there is no Cinderella. Like I said,
Mhm.
Texas isn't a Cinderella. Yes, they're
No,
11
no,
seed, but they're
no,
not. That's not a Cinderella because Texas
no.
is in the Big 12. I mean, they're in the
Right.
SEC now. I'm sorry, they used to be in the Big 12,
Right.
so they're in a power conference. They're not like.
Right. Right. I'm talking about these mid majors who aren't power conferences. Your Florida Atlantic. Remember they were in the
Yep, a couple years ago
2023
they went
against
all the way
San
to Final
Diego
Four, I
State.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you remember that Final Four? It was Miami, UConn, Florida Atlantic, and San Diego State. I know
yep,
the ratings were terrible. Nobody watched. We loved it. I loved it as a fan. But
yeah.
that was. I don't think we'll ever see that again because the year after that, the lowest seed we had, if you want to call them a Cinderella, the lowest seed in 2024 was North Carolina State. They were in 11. But
Hmm.
North Carolina State, I don't have to tell you, they have an excellent basketball program. And if they're not up top, they're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And what we have last year, we started to separate. All four number ones made it,
Hmm.
Final Four. So we might start to see that separation now where the most sought after kids in high school are going to go to these bigger schools. And not, if they don't make Duke, they might go to Clemson, middle of the pack basketball school. Like we talked about, your Iowas, your Iowa States, Nebraska. Since when has Nebraska been a basketball school?
Never. This is the first ever Sweet 16.
Yeah. So that's my opinion. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I'm just looking at what we have
Success
now.
in basketball. They've been
Yeah.
ranked plenty of times. They've been seeded really high sometimes, but they always seem to drop out really freaking early
Right.
in the tournament. They usually lose in the first or the second round. They're kind of busters in the tournament, except for this year.
Right.
Same thing with Indiana. Indiana, same way.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, but to answer your question about Florida losing, I have them going to the championship and losing. But man,
I
it's
am
going to be
losing the
tough.
lead 8 to Houston.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had them going to the Final Four, but losing to UConn. So I had them going pretty far.
Yeah.
Because I have UConn, Michigan in my final. That's still possible. Because obviously both teams are in a Sweet 16. Um, yeah, it is hard to repeat. Like I said, hats off to Iowa. My dad's from Iowa, so I know he's stoked.
Oh
And
yeah.
obviously Iowa's a Big Ten school, so I'm glad Iowa pulled off the upset.
Hmm.
I was kind of surprised. I mean, I didn't know Florida would win back to backs because those are really hard.
Yeah.
But
It's
they
tough.
did do it before in 2005 or six or 2006 and seven. They're the last team to win back to backs before UConn did it
Hmm.
a couple years ago. We were talking about that last year's show. Um, that UConn was able to do it. They're the first time to do it since Florida. 20 years ago. So yeah, I thought they'd make it farther than the second round. Like I
Oh,
said, I
so did I.
wasn't surprised Iowa won the first round game. Like, yeah, they're going to have to win the first round against Clemson, but I did not think they would win the second round against Florida. I thought they would definitely lose that game. Um, so yeah, I'm surprised Florida's out early. Like I didn't know how far they get, but I didn't think they'd lose in the second round. That's for
No,
sure.
no.
So um, the men's team still does have more. Even though it's not as big as the mid majors, though, Monty, to your point, that's very very true. But I still think men's college basketball March Madness is still a lot more fun and more exciting to watch than the women's. Because women's, it's been nothing but blowouts mostly.
Oh
There's been
yeah,
no upsets at
absolutely.
all
Yeah,
the first two rounds. I think there's only been one upset the first
yeah.
two rounds, and we still did have upsets. It may not, like I said, the high point still be Wisconsin.
Mm.
You know, Texas has had Texas beat Gonzaga. Um, you know, there was another 6-11 up. There was two 6-11 upsets. I know who was the other 6-11 upset? Because there's been upsets. So the one was obviously Texas and BYU, but there was another 6-11 upset somewhere. Oh, VCU beat North Carolina,
Yeah,
your boys.
yes,
I mean, so there still
yeah.
was some upsets in the first round, and like I said, the women's have none at all. Um, so I still think the men's is more exciting, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, the women's tournament doesn't get interesting till that Elite Eight, Final Four
I
time because there's
agree.
yeah,
You just know like the same five or six teams are going to be in like
right,
they're all the same five or six teams are always in the mix with the women's, and it kind of makes it boring, unfortunately. I mean,
yeah,
women's basketball has grown tremendously in the last 3 or 4 years with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Buchers, and the girl from USC is pretty good.
yes,
She's hurt. She didn't play all dang year long. Whatever her name is, you know what I'm
yeah,
talking about though.
yeah,
Hopefully she's okay. Juju Watkins.
yes,
Um,
Judy Watkins.
yeah, hopefully she returns next year and still pretty strong. But yeah, women's don't have the same thing. Um, so I guess we can move into. I broke down what the teams from the conferences that made the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I didn't do that, but
Yeah, I already said it earlier. Six from the Big
yeah,
Ten, four from SEC, one from ACC, two from Big East, and three from the Big 12. I mentioned them earlier in the show already, so I'm going to rehash that again. But 2 years in a row, Big Ten's been really strong. Big
yeah,
Ten had 9 teams in the tournament, and six are in the Sweet 16. So they've only lost 3 games so far. Wisconsin obviously was one of them to High Point, and there's a couple other ones. Um, Ohio State lost in the first round, and someone else. Um, are you surprised the Big Ten is doing as well as they are, or you think it's normal? They haven't won a championship since
I think
2000. Tom Izzo, though.
part of it is the drop off of the ACC outside of Duke. Well, not this year for Virginia, but Virginia past couple
Mm.
of seasons, man, they were once the top dog. Um, but I think that drop off in the ACC might have a lot to do with it. We're not
Mm.
seeing as many teams in the tournament from the ACC. They're getting knocked out early, just like North Carolina did. And these Big Ten team that they're winning, it's a deeper conference right now. Michigan, Michigan State, yeah,
Yeah,
Illinois,
the two surprise teams are
yeah,
Nebraska and Iowa.
yeah,
Purdue's been strong lately. Illinois has been strong,
yeah.
but Nebraska and Iowa are the two big surprises out of the Big
Mm-hmm.
Ten getting this far.
Yes,
Um, SEC has 4 teams in it. They've sent 9 to tournament also, so they're not doing bad. They didn't quite have as much success in the first 2 rounds. I mean, so out of 9 teams, they got 4 left, which isn't horrible. So like little over half their teams are gone. That's kind of normal, I guess.
yeah, yeah,
Big Ten has 6 out of 9 though, so Big Ten's playing well. Big East really didn't send a whole lot of teams to the tournament. UConn and St. John's are still in. I don't know what
yeah.
other couple teams they had that lost, but
Man, they were once the big dog with sending yeah, Georgetown and all that at one time.
they should
Yeah,
send Creighton and other teams. But
yeah,
Creighton wasn't that good this year. Um, what should I call it? Villanova did go, but they lost their first or second
right.
round game. So they got a new head coach, but I think they'll be good in years to come. But he seems to be going the right direction. Um, yeah, in the Big 12, Arizona, Houston, Iowa State. Arizona's not a buster this year. They look pretty
No,
strong.
yeah,
So
yeah. I still don't trust them.
I
They
still don't
might
trust
win
them,
the
but they're at least in the Sweet
yeah, they
16
might
so
win the whole
far.
thing. I mean, they're good. Probably the best defensive team in the tournament right now. Yeah.
I guess before we get to the coaches, like what well, maybe we can save this more for the games. I was going to ask what number one seed you think is still the weakest or the strongest, but maybe we could get to that before
Mhm.
when we do our matchups.
All right.
So, yeah, Hubert Davis is fired. So, what do you think about that? You being a big North Carolina Tar Heels fan, what do you think about Hubert Davis being gone?
Man, one of my favorite Duke Duke North Carolina basketball players
Mm-hmm.
um, became coach, took them as an eighth seed to the championship. Uh, the Final Four, they knocked out Duke, Mike Krzyzewski's last game. Lost to Kansas in a close one, and after that, not much from him really. And uh, North Carolina, my phone, sorry. Um, North Carolina's not going to put up with that. You can't lose in the first round 2 years in a row. Who did they lose to this year? VCU. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can't do that. I mean, it's tough. Lost to Ole Miss in the first round last year. Yeah, it's 125 and 54 record. They just need to go a new direction and bring the Tar Heel basketball program back to prominence. And yeah, he had some early success, but it's a what have you done for me lately time and age, and yeah, it was time. Hate to see him go, but yeah, 4-6 against Duke. That's a no-no. His whole time coaching, and yeah, it was time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said. I share your sentiments. Great player,
Yeah,
played in the NBA for a long time, had a successful NBA career. Like I said, got off to a great start early, but the last few years he hasn't done well. I know not last year because he lost in first round last year, also like you mentioned, but the year before that, I think he made the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight,
yes,
right?
yes,
You
yes,
know, so I know he beat Michigan State in either the Sweet 16 or the second
yeah,
round or something. That was a good game,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
2024, they lost to Alabama in the Sweet 16. Yeah,
Yeah, they must have beat Michigan State in the second round then
yeah,
because Alabama made it to the Final Four that year. I think
yeah,
they had a pretty good squad, one of their
yes.
first ever Final Fours in basketball. Um, Yeah, no, he had to go because, like I said, North Carolina's a huge basketball program. Wish him nothing but hopefully wish him nothing but good health and success in future. Hopefully, I don't know if he wants to continue coaching somewhere
Oh
else
yeah,
or he can
yeah.
stay out of
Someone will. He'll coach
basketball.
somewhere else if he wants to. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what his plans are if he wants to try to continue coaching or maybe he's an analyst or something, or with ESPN or
Mm-hmm.
something or whatever, and he can do games like that because he has basketball knowledge. We know this. He'll be good at
Mm-hmm.
that. He does some analyst stuff. We'll see. Um, yeah, it was time. Um, Bill Self retiring. I know he's had some health issues lately. He missed some games this year
Yes.
because of his health. So, has he made the final decision yet, or is it still up in the air?
No, he hasn't. He's discussing it with his family. He did bring up, possible health issues, but no, he hasn't decided yet. And man, that's two possibilities of prestigious coaching positions that might be open if Billy Donovan decides to step down.
Mm-hmm.
And for his reasons, I don't blame him one bit. I mean, I understand. I could understand that. So, man, that's two openings possibly uh, for two great
Big
basketball
openings.
programs.
Big openings.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bill Self, I think, has won three national championships with
yeah,
Kansas. He's had a
yeah,
pretty good career there.
yeah.
They've had some of their early tournament failures also, but they've also
Hmm.
won some. They also won a lot of championships also. So they're kind of hit and miss in the tournament also sometimes.
Yeah.
Last couple of years they haven't gone far either. I'm not sure when the last time they won the tournament, probably like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, they
Um,
beat what was it? So when they beat North Carolina in the championship, and
yeah,
Carolina was the eighth seed, 2022 year.
yep, there you go. Yep, I do remember that.
Yeah,
yeah. So we'll see what Bill Self does. That's a huge opening, like you said. North Carolina, and possibly Kansas. Those are big time basketball program schools. So it'll be interesting to see who North Carolina and possibly Kansas hires their next coaches. That'll be interesting.
I think, and that it could be Billy Donovan.
Mm,
His NBA tenure hasn't been very good, especially with the Bulls. I mean, frankly, the Bulls suck right now.
yeah.
He might want to come back to the NCAA where he won two championships with Florida.
Yep.
This North Carolina job might be better suited for him.
Yeah, he might be a better college coach. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, some guys just are better off in college, which is good.
Hmm.
It's good for the college game.
Yeah,
Pros are just different.
yeah.
Um, One thing I mentioned, if this is true, I didn't fact check it, but I think it's true. But they're saying Tom Izzo and Michigan State is the only team left out of the Sweet 16 teams that have no transfer portal players.
Wow. How about that?
If that is, I can see that
Wow.
being true though, because Tom Izzo, the kind of coach he is,
Old school. Yeah.
old school. His players, he develops players there.
Yes.
I could see that being true. Um, yeah, so I don't like it's like I said, I don't know if that's true, but I could definitely see that being true. And that's crazy what we're just talking about the transfer portal earlier in
Yeah.
the show with not having, mid majors in the Sweet 16 right now. Some upsets in the first round, but no mid majors made it, and yeah, this so that's interesting that Tom Izzo, yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He's always been one of my favorite college coaches, if not my favorite. Yeah. I've always followed Michigan State because I'm a big Magic Johnson fan. So I followed that team and kept up with what
Oh
they
yeah.
did. So
Yep, him and Larry Bird back in '79, the
yeah.
championship team,
Yeah.
right?
So wow. Wow. And knowing Izzo how he is, old school, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I'm sure he recruits out of that area, the best
Mm-hmm.
players out of that area, Michigan
Mm-hmm.
area, Ohio area, Indiana, which is different
Yeah,
now.
the
The transfer
Midwest, pretty
portal, where
much. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I see that being very true. One thing I didn't mention in the opening is Tennessee and Purdue are making some runs. Tennessee used to be a tournament buster. I
yes,
meant to mention this in the opening, but they made
yes,
four Sweet 16s in a row.
wow,
I did not know that. I looked that up yesterday because I just know they usually fall out early and they're usually like a
yeah,
huge failure in the tournament. But they've made four Sweet 16s in a row. They've been a couple of Elite Eights in a row. Um, and Purdue's made
mhm,
three Sweet 16s in a row, and Purdue's had some bust too. We know with them being number one seed losing a couple years ago
yeah,
to the 16 seed the second time, and number one seed lost to a 16 seed.
hmm,
They were part of that drama. Duke almost did this year. It was almost the
yeah,
third time.
yeah.
I
I
was
wish they
wondering
would
if it
have
was going to
too.
be a third time. I was
Yeah,
hoping so.
yeah,
I would love that.
yeah,
I was hoping Siena would hang on, but
hmm,
um, yeah, Tennessee four Sweet 16s in a row. I know they play suffocating defense. Purdue has good guard play. You know, they got their two really good guards.
hmm,
And they got
yeah.
Kaufman, their big man, who took over for Zach Edey. He's decent. So, who are you more surprised about, Tennessee or Purdue being in the
I'm
Sweet
I'm
16 that
surprised
many in a
about
row?
Tennessee. I had them losing, I think, the first round early, and like you mentioned, I remember them losing early in the past. I didn't know that they had this much of a streak either.
They
So,
have a streak going on the last 4 years. Yeah, I didn't know
wow,
that either.
yeah,
I
that
know they've been
somehow
doing
got
better
by
lately,
me.
but not 4 years in a row.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the one that surprised me. I was, oh, they're gonna lose this first round game because I remember them
Yeah,
in the
they
past
they've
losing the
been
first round. So,
complete busters, man.
yeah,
They've been highly seeded, and they've been part of the big upsets on
hmm,
the wrong side of the big upsets. Yeah, they've been on the wrong side of that a lot, and yeah, it's surprising, but yeah,
hmm,
four in a row.
yeah, yeah. That's the one that I'm surprised about out of the two.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
So this Iowa State and Tennessee game tomorrow should be a real good matchup. Right?
Yeah, it's on Friday, but that should be
Yeah.
really good. Iowa State, I don't think they've ever made a Final Four. They've been to the Elite Eight a couple times, but I don't think they've
Mhm.
ever made the Final Four.
Yeah.
I don't think Tennessee has either. So that's, I mean, obviously whoever wins this game will get to the Elite Eight. But I know Iowa State's been in some Elite Eights.
Yeah.
Um, but that game will be really interesting. Um, so I guess we could get into some games now. But I could ask the question I was going to ask earlier. The number one seeds. Who do you think is the strongest number one seed remaining, and who do you think is the weakest?
Oh man. Well, I don't trust Arizona, but I was looking at who they played this year. Every top team they played this year, they've beaten.
Yeah, I know. Yep,
Every single one of them.
I
So
agree. The facts
for
are
that
facts.
reason and that reason only, I'm not picking Michigan to be the top team is because of that. They've beaten top
Yeah,
teams already. Um, the weakest Dukes because they do have players hurt.
yeah, that's an easy one right now. Yeah, that's an
Right,
easy one. Yeah.
right. So yeah, yeah. I'm very interested in this matchup with Arizona and Arkansas.
Mm.
Yeah. Arkansas
Yeah,
has this guy that's Allen Iverson like A Cup. It's going to be a matchup. It's going to be a matchup. Looking forward to that
I
one.
agree. Yeah, Michigan's playing Alabama. I agree. The two strongest is either Michigan or Arizona.
Mhm.
I mean, I could say Michigan since I'm a big Michigan guy, obviously, but and Arizona's been busters in the tournament. But I agree with you. Arizona has had a really tough schedule this year, and they've beaten some really good teams this
Yeah,
year. Um, yeah, a lot of top 25
yeah,
opponents, top 10 opponents.
yeah.
Yeah, they could go in the deep run. Like I got them going to the Final Four this year, the first Final Four in
Hmm.
quite some time. But yeah, they could do it. So yeah, I agree with you. It's either Arizona or Michigan, and then yeah, Duke is obvious because they have two key players out. And
Yeah,
but what's surprised about them is how they rebounded from the first to second game. They play a much more quality opponent in the second round and blow them out like
yes,
23 points. But then they are down almost the whole entire game against the 16th seed. That just doesn't
yeah.
make any sense in my brain. But I guess that's just the way the ball bounces
Hmm.
sometimes. So I guess you gotta give them credit for not losing the 16th seed. It would have been a huge upset, but somehow they found a way to finally take the lead. Like
Right.
I wasn't watching that game, but it seemed like they're down by 5 or 6 points the whole entire game. The next thing you know, they're up by 5 or 6 points, and they kind of held on to that 5 or 6 point lead. So I did not understand that game at all. I wasn't watching it. That game just made no sense to me, man. So I don't know what the Siena team was doing to them, why they didn't show their dominance, because they got two guys hurt. Like they're still the number one seed, and Duke is a very premier program like North Carolina and Michigan and
Yes.
UConn. Like you just think at some point these guys are going to separate. Because the guys on their bench are probably better than half these guys starters. I
Yes.
mean, so you just think at some point they're going to take over at some point, and this never happened until like the last 5 minutes of the game. And even then, they didn't like just take over. They just got like a small lead and were able to hold on to it. They didn't blow them out. So that's crazy. So that's just freaking crazy to me, man.
Mhm.
Couldn't believe it. All right, matchups in a couple hours. The first game, I'll do Thursday matchups first. First game is number 11 Texas versus number 2 Purdue. Who do you got? Texas is on fire. You already mentioned it earlier in the show. North Carolina State did make it to the Final Four as 11
Mhm.
seed, and they're a playing team, just like Texas was a playing team. They beat North Carolina State in the playing game this
Yeah.
year, which was ironic. And
Yeah.
a couple years before that, UCLA was the number 11 seed playing team. They went to the Final Four and lost to Gonzaga in the Final Four. That's year Gonzaga lost to
Mm.
Baylor in
Yes.
the championship game. So these number 11 seed playing teams seem to have a lot of success in the tournament lately.
Well, if you want to call a Cinderella team that's left, that's in the Sweet 16, it would be Texas to
Yep.
make it to go the rest of the way. I mean, but man, I just can't see him beating Purdue as much as I would love to see it. Purdue's too strong for him, I think. I'm gonna go with Purdue.
I'll go with Purdue also for the exact same reasons, but I would like to see Texas win because I'm a Big Ten guy. So I for my Big Ten sense, I want Purdue to win, but the
Mhm.
reason why I'm saying Texas because in my bracket for the poll I'm in, like if Texas wins, I get huge points. They're one of my teams. So if they pull off this upset, that's going. I'm behind right now in my bracket thing,
Mhm.
but if Texas wins, that's gonna close the gap. So that's the reason why I would want Texas wins is because of the March Madness poll I'm in. Other than that, I would want Purdue to win. I do think Purdue probably will win this game.
Mhm.
Um, I agree they're too strong.
Yeah.
They have really good guard play, and yeah, they're one point guard. I know his name, Braden something. Like he does everything. He can shoot, he can pass, he gets crazy amount of assists. Like that dude's just a beast all over the court. Lloyd's
Yeah.
not too bad, and like I said, Kaufman. They got their big three, so they're pretty solid. Um, Next game is a Big Ten matchup. So one of these Big Ten teams is going to lead eight. Number 9 Iowa versus number 4 Nebraska.
Hmm.
So I know Nebraska's never been to the lead eight because this is their first ever
No.
Sweet 16. Not sure if Iowa's ever been to the lead eight in the men's side. If they did, it had to be super like way back in the day.
Mhm.
So I don't think they have. If they did, it was like somewhere way back when we were like maybe before we were born or something,
Yes.
or yeah, I think it was way back if they did it. Who do you got in this game?
I didn't have either of these teams making it this far. But man, that's just goes to show, man, you never know. That's why they call this March Madness. I'm gonna go with the 9 seed. I'm gonna go with Iowa.
I agree. So we're 2 for 2. Yeah, I think Iowa's going to stay hot.
Hmm.
And yeah, I got Iowa going to their lead eight, maybe for the first time ever, or like first time in, like I said, God knows when. But yeah, I got Iowa winning. Um, that should be a good. That could be another overtime game. We did have a couple of
Yeah,
overtime games in the first and second round, and this might be another overtime game.
yeah. I like
And
this
they play.
matchup.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like this matchup a lot. It's gonna be good.
And they're both from the same conference, so they know each other
Yes.
well. So
Oh
that'll
yeah.
probably make it close also
Yeah.
because they play against each other in the regular season. So that's going to be interesting. Um, Next game, number 4 Arkansas versus number 1 Arizona.
Mm, man, Arkansas has this guard that reminds me a lot of Allen Iverson.
I know the freshman
Oh
guard; he's a beast.
man, but from what I understand, Arizona's gonna put this their best defender, who's I don't know, name escapes me, but he's like 6'7", who's gonna give this guy, try to give this
Yeah,
guy
he's
a headache.
long.
So
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
gonna be
pretty
watching
big
that
guy.
matchup. Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait for this one. It's gonna be a good one. But I'm gonna go. Want to go with Arizona? I'll go with Arizona. Mm.
I will go with Arizona too, just because I have Arizona going to the Final Four.
All right.
This is gonna be a really good game, though. The key for Arkansas is can this freshman guard have success against this Arizona defender who's 6'7", like you said,
Yeah.
long, lengthy, that can cover some ground.
Yeah.
If that guard can have some success or other guys step up, they could make it a game. And they did win the SEC tournament, so they're really hot right now. But yeah, but I think Arizona's just too strong. Like I said, Arizona's been busters in the past. I think this year is their year. I think they will get to the Final Four, and I think they will win this game. It could be close, or it might be a blowout. I think they're going to win.
Yes. Yeah. It's gonna be a good one.
Number 3 Illinois
Mm.
versus number 2 Houston.
Wow.
It's a tough
Wow.
one too.
Hmm. I did get this matchup right, and yeah, yeah. I got Houston.
Yeah. Um,
No,
Houston
I
probably
didn't get
will
this matchup
win.
right. I have them
What's
for.
that?
Yeah, I did get this matchup. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Houston.
I will go. I will probably be wrong on this. Illinois did make the Elite Eight a couple years ago. They've been some busters in the tournament, but they had some success lately in the tournament. Also, like we're talking about some other teams, like Tennessee and Purdue. Houston got a suffocating defense. We know that they got really
Hmm.
good guard play. The main thing is their defense, but
Yes.
Illinois does have some good 3-point shooters. They do live and die by the 3-point line a little bit. They have a couple of good bigs. One of their bigs can shoot threes also, and he can go down low, obviously being a big. But Illinois could pull up this. It won't be a big upset, 2 versus 3, but I'm gonna go with Illinois.
All right.
This pull up. They have just have one small upset. It won't be a big one, 2 and 3, but or Illinois could get ran out of the gym. They obviously they have to be able to beat Houston's press and they have
Yes.
to get quality shots off. But if Illinois can beat Houston's press and get off some good shots, they could pull off an upset because we know how Houston is. They lost in the championship game last year, got really close, but
Hmm.
they just never seem to quite, except for last year, they just never seem to quite get all the way. They usually lose around this part of the tournament, like the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight kind of part. So we'll see. I don't know, or they could run away with it, but I'll take a leap of faith for Illinois. Um, Friday's matchups: number 5 St. John's versus number 1 Duke. This should be a
Mm.
good one too.
Yeah, I like this matchup here. I have St. John's beating Duke in the Sweet 16. That was my pick, and I'm gonna still stick with it. It's gonna go down the wire. They're not gonna blow them out. Uh, 2 point win by St. John's here. It'll be that close.
Yep, I had the exact same pick. I'm staying with my bracket. I do have St. John's being Duke in my original bracket, and I got a St. John's UConn matchup in the Elite Eight if that holds true still.
Hmm.
So I will
Yes.
go with St. John's. They got really good players. They have a good big. They have good guard play. Also, they play really good defense. They like the press. Um, yeah, I think it'd be too much for Duke, especially with Duke having 2 guys hurt
Yeah.
out of the lineup. I think it's really gonna hurt them because I mean St. John's is gonna put a ton of pressure on them,
Yeah.
and this is their first Sweet 16 in quite a while, also. So I know they're pretty hungry. They got the coach Rick Pitino.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Duke is gonna win this game. It won't be a huge upset because with
No.
Duke's players being hurt, but it will be an upset. Um, so yeah, I got St. John's all the way. All right, here's my game. This is gonna be really freaking high scoring. I know that. Number 4 Alabama versus number 1 Michigan. They can both score
Mm.
a lot of points.
Mm. Yeah. Wow. 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 Yeah. That is going to be a up and down. Two very good athletic teams.
That's
Two.
gonna be a track meet.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Dunks all over the place. So it's going to be nice. Can't wait to see that. I picked this matchup right as well. I'm going to stick with it. I have Michigan winning.
Yeah, I've had Michigan winning the whole thing this year,
Yeah.
so I still have them alive. But I did have Texas Tech beating Alabama, and man, I was wrong about that. Wrong about that. They got whooped because Texas Tech has had some success also
Yeah.
lately late
They
in this
have.
tournament. But
They have.
it
Mhm.
was a 4 versus 5 matchup. I thought that'd be a good game, but Texas Tech lost by 20, 25 points. They got whooped pretty bad.
Yes.
Um, that surprised me. I thought that'd be a much better game. I've been picking in my heart and my head, but I will go with Michigan. But Michigan's got to play better defense. Um, they do give up points. Obviously, Alabama can score points. Obviously, they're not going to be able to completely shut down Alabama. These are 2 high-powered offenses, but
Yes.
Michigan's got to play better defense. They got to stop them just enough. Michigan defense finally showed up in the second half against St. Louis because St. Louis in the second round was giving them trouble in the first half. I was like, man, where is Michigan's defense? I mean, they give up 80 points in the first round. Yes, they beat the 16 seed at 101 to 80, but 80 points to a 16 seed. That's a lot of dang points.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, like I'm like, where's Michigan's defense? I know they can score a lot, but you got to play some defense. And I think in
Yeah.
the second half of the St. Louis game, they shut them down. They finally separated. They won the game by 23 points, 24 points, and they finally played some defense. So Michigan just needs to lock in on the defensive side. That should get them over the hump. I'm a
Yes.
little bit worried though because Alabama can score, but I think Michigan has enough quality players. They need to lock down on some defense.
Yeah. It's going to be a good matchup.
It should be a good matchup.
Yeah.
Number 3 Michigan State versus number 2 UConn.
Mm. Boy. 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 Boy.
That might be the best game out of this whole entire Sweet
Yes.
16.
Yeah. Man, hate picking against Izzo, but I did pick UConn to win this game. I because I have another St. John's and UConn matchup. It will be their fourth time this season playing each other if UConn wins the game. So yeah, I have UConn on this one.
I want Michigan State to win the game, but I do have UConn winning it. But I would love to see Tom Izzo beat
Mhm.
UConn. I don't like UConn's coach. I think he's arrogant. I think he's arrogant. Don't like his
Oh, Hurley?
attitude. Huh?
I like him. He cracks me up. Yeah,
I won't say I dislike him, but he's annoying. He's a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit
yeah. I know what you
annoying.
mean.
But he is a good
Cracks me
coach.
up.
Yeah, he's kind of a trash talker.
Oh
He's
yeah,
kind of like a trash talker coach. Not crazy about that.
yeah.
Not that I don't mind some trash talk. We all trash talk a little bit, but he seems to kind of get really far with things.
Hmm.
That's where the arrogance comes in. He seems to be
Right.
very arrogant. That's why I don't like him too much. But he is a good coach. I like Michigan State better.
Yeah.
Um, but I got UConn St. John's matchup in the Elite Eight, so I'll stick with that. But like I said, if I'm wrong, I will not be mad.
No, 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 no. Mhm.
I would love to see Michigan State upset them. All right, the last game. Number 6, Tennessee versus number 2, Iowa State.
Mm. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I had Iowa getting this far, but not Tennessee. So, boy, I'm gonna go with Iowa.
Yeah, I'm going with Iowa State also because I have Iowa State getting
Iowa
to
State.
Elite Eight
Yeah.
and losing
Sorry.
against Michigan.
Yeah.
My bracket's set for Iowa State and Michigan to meet each other in Elite
Mhm.
Eight. I'll keep it that way. But kudos to Tennessee. Like I said earlier in the show, they made 4 Sweet 16s in a row. They made a couple of Elite Eights in a row last year. I know they played an Elite Eight a couple years ago against Purdue, and Purdue won and went all the way to the championship game, losing to UConn in their back to backs. Um, I think they made the Elite Eight last year also, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly. So they've been back to back Elite Eights, 4 Sweet 16s in a row. They've had some success, but I think Iowa State will do it. I'm gonna stick with my bracket. It's gonna be Iowa State. They're pretty tough. They're a
Yes.
good number 2 seed. So that's it for the games. You got anything in closing, brother? Anything we forgot to mention?
No, no. I think we covered it. Good topics. Good matchups. I'm looking forward to these games.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, let us know who your picks are. But yeah, hopefully I got Michigan versus UConn in the finals, and hopefully
Mhm.
Michigan wins this whole entire thing. And I just want a Big Ten team to win it. Because I mentioned earlier in the show, the Big Ten always has teams in the Final Four. It seems like year in, year out, but they have not won a final since Tom Izzo in
Mhm.
2000. It's been 26 years. They've been kind of busters in the tournament. Even though Big Ten is a really good basketball conference as a whole, they can't quite seem to win the whole thing. They get knocked out at some point. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention. As I mentioned to you in the text, we talked about this real quick. There is a small chance of a Michigan State final.
How about that? How about that?
I forgot to
Wow.
mention that. So we're not quite closing yet. We'll close after
Yeah,
this.
that's right. That's right. Yes. That would be something to see. Man, can you imagine all the
They hate each
celebrities
other's
that would be
guts,
there?
obviously. State rivalry game. Their games have been pretty crazy, pretty intense the last few years.
Wow.
That would be insane.
The whole Fab Five will be there. Magic will be there. My goodness. That would be something.
Probably other Michigan State players would be there, like Draymond Green, and
That's right.
there's all kinds of
See?
Michigan State players that have been formerly in the NBA, that's still in the NBA right now. So Michigan
Yeah.
State have a lot of players there. Of course, Michigan will have Fab Five, but
Oh,
Jason
man.
Richardson might be there.
Yes.
His son used to be a player for Michigan State. Is his son still playing for Michigan State?
Not sure.
I
Not
think he went to
sure.
the NBA. Yeah, because he was in a dunk contest this year,
Mm.
slam dunk
Mm.
contest in the NBA. He's a rookie. Um, but Jason Richardson would probably be there. Yeah, they have a star-studded cast also, but of course the Fab Five is the Fab Five. I mean,
Yeah.
they're the most famous, but that would be a great that would be a great final. Honestly,
Wow.
we know that would secure is someone in the Big Ten will finally win a championship if that happens. So they'll
Hmm.
break that. If that happens, they will be able to break that streak. So um, we'll see. I just want a Big Ten team winning it, but hopefully Michigan. So that's what I got. So we'll
Wow.
see what happens, man. The
Nice.
possibilities there though, because they're on opposite sides of the bracket, which is nice. And yeah, that'll be something else. But I guess that's all we got for the show. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing. And hopefully your team is still alive. Hopefully your champion is still alive and they can pull this thing off.
All right. Next show, Final Four.
Yep.